Many, maybe most legal systems are based on this idea, this belief in human rights. But human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story that we've invented and spread around. It may be a very nice story. It may be a very attractive story. We want to believe it. But it's just a story. It's not a reality. It is not a biological reality. Just as jellyfish and woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights, Homo sapiens have no rights also. Take a human, cut him open, look inside, you find their blood, and you find the heart and lungs and kidneys, but you don't find there any rights. The only place you find rights is in the fictional stories that humans have invented and spread around. And the same thing is also true in the political field. States and nations are also, like human rights and like God and like heaven, they too are just stories. A mountain is a reality. You can see it, you can touch it, you can even smell it. But Israel or the United States, they are just stories, very powerful stories, stories we might want to believe very much, but still they are just stories. You can't really see the United States. You cannot touch it. You cannot smell it.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny here today, and it's rare something pisses me off, but the intro video you just saw really annoyed me. I don't know how to explain it. Well, I've been just doing my best to articulate against it, right? So, as you guys know, you see behind me, I'm very big on philosophy, right? And one of the things that I don't know, it's me trying to find the truth and, God or whatever this, I don't know. It's always something innate in me that I always look for truth, meaning to life. And this idea that everything here is all that exists. Ask this guy, where's the consciousness? Like where does consciousness derive upon? Oh, electrical signals in your brain. Okay, but what's the cause of those electrical signals? You think about something and then it reacts to the proper expression in the physical. You thought about creating a company and it didn't exist before, but now it does. Like, what? The idea that human rights are fictional. Let's go along with it because this explains a lot about Davos, these people in the New World Order. This is why socialist says that becoming atheist is you're 90% on your way to becoming a socialist. This is why. Because with that kind of thinking, the ends justify the means. Nothing matters. Everything's relative, right? If human rights is fictional, why give women the right to vote? Right? Like let's take it to its logical conclusion. All you're really saying is people in power decides the rights of people without power. That's what you're trying to say. If human rights was fictional, what was the point of ending slavery? Oh, they're just nice stories we tell ourselves, right? There's socialists out here on the internet webs that think that capitalism is a new form of slavery. So we sold ourselves a dream that, we all can live equally without tearing each other apart. And this kind of, I think this is some very short-sightedness on the part of this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't care. Sad, who's an atheist, by the way. So don't sit here and try to say, oh, Kenny, you're trying to be this religious. No. It is remarkable that this guy is put on a pedestal by the Davos crowd. He's absolutely saying anything of substance. A dispenser of vicarious nonsense masquerading as profanity. Pretty much profound. In the future, people will care about water. You have to say it with an Israeli accent, though, right? Like, this observation is very short-sighted. It just says, hey, I have more money than you. I have more influence than you. I have more status than you. I have more power than you. And we get to rule society. Essentially justifying a societal class. Okay, these groups of people, they're the rulers, and I'm just a peasant. We are not equals. Therefore, they get to dictate the rules, and I must follow them. That's the world you're asking for with a world without human rights. And it kind of explains a lot where I say this philosophy, this framework. I believe majority of people of Davos sees the world this way. Only power is real, right? Because he's talking about what's real, right? Not like me and my wife are equal. We just bring different values to the family. In his mind, oh, I should have more than one wife because I'm in a position of high regard. I make money that only a certain amount of people make in the world. I'm the top 10% of the world. I should have multiple wives because this is not real. Like, this is just a nice story we tell ourselves. Men were made to have multiple women and mass produce all around the place. But if you ask this guy, I'm sure if you ask this Israeli guy here, hey, why not have more than one wife? He'll give you some reason. Oh, well, it's not economically viable. It's not this. Like, this is just moral relativism masquerading as something, some new observation, right? And the reason why I'm so angry about this idea that it kind of explains a lot of positions that Democrats and the left has. Like, for instance, abortion. I believe abortion is a human rights debate. And if you believe human rights are fictional, then you can justify a woman saying stuff like this on a press hearing. Let's take a look.
I think abortion should be unrestricted. And I think when somebody finds out in pregnancy, or how far along that they are when someone finds out, they should be able to get an abortion if they want to. And for some people, that is full term. If I can't get abortion training here, if I can't perform abortions in my career, I will not stay in Wisconsin. And a lot of my colleagues who are on the same track agree.
All right, thank you. That'll do nothing to help our shortages.
Yeah. That's logically consistent if you believe human rights are relative, right? Like, one thing this is one of the reasons why I say that atheism is starting to lose its ground in the world, in my view anyway. And I could be wrong about this, but this is why atheism never really appealed to me, because all I see it is as self-worship, the ability to indulge in whatever is beneficial for you and you alone. It's very individualistic, right? It's borderline narcissism, but hey, whatever. This woman's like, yo, my offspring inconvenienced me, and I am justified to kill it on my whim, just because I can. And you know, the adage saying goes, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But to an atheist, it's like, why not? Because human rights are fictional, right? Like, why we should allow, like, and the funny part is, it's so contradictory too. If the material is the only thing that matters, then why do you allow men to identify themselves as women? Shouldn't every atheist be homophobic then? Because what's the point? Like, functionally, let's look at it. These two cannot reproduce. Why should we let them do whatever they want? If a country is just a fictional idea, right, what keeps us in order? Like, you're going to invite chaos with that idea, with that observation. And a country is not just merely a government, a system. It's a community. Communities are real. This is real. But to put a nation as some idea, no, it's you can think of it as a tribe, just a scaled version of tribe. Tribe has been something that humans been doing for as long as humans has existed. But this guy wants to make this idea, oh, you know, government, it's fictional, it's fictional. I don't understand. Like, if you want to push this premise, we might as well go back to survival of the fittest. The strong has power over the weak. We should just go back to that. In some ways, people are arguing that it's always been this way and we're just ignoring it. But that's the point of having ideals. Because let me tell you something. If human rights are fictional, why have laws? Right? It's almost, it's a weird form of anarchy there he's advocating here. Because without any moral principles, without any common ground or common understanding, you have chaos. That's real. Let's look at the results. The results are real. A society that believes human rights are objective truths and should be followed are better countries than countries that don't think human rights are objective and real. Let's look at the results. What makes a better society? A society that is founded on human rights, or a society that believes human rights are negotiable? That we can censor you because you said something against the regime? That we are allowed to meddle in your lives and say that you shouldn't allow to have coffee because it hurts the environment. Pets cause more damage to the climate. Cars do as well. Having children is irresponsible because of overpopulation. Eating meat is eco-terrorism. Gas stoves are evil. And now coffee. I can list many of the examples, but for now, here are ways that you can help the environment. Essentially, kill yourself. Don't have kids. This is human rights. If you believe human rights are fictional, then you are an anti-humanist. Human flourishing requires us to have an impact on the climate, period. When it gets cold, you want to turn on the heater, you got to burn fossil fuels to generate that energy. You want to make solar and wind panels, you have to impact the climate to make them, to get that clean energy. The reality is clean energy is less energy, aka less human impact, aka less human flourishing. To say human rights is fictional is an anti-human perspective, an anti-human framework, where you put everything above the consideration of your fellow man. You want us to worship things outside of what's best for us, our community, our family, and most importantly, ourselves. You want us to be part of a collective. This is why socialism love atheism. This is why socialism love materialism. Because they say, hey, you individual, you must sacrifice in the good of the collective. And this is what he's advocating for. Human rights is fundamentally about individual rights. What was the saying? This is a popular saying that if a country cannot protect its most fringiest minority, the individual, just because I'm black doesn't mean I have to vote Democrat. That's a human right. But if human rights are fictional, then these black people in my comment section that's mad that I'm not agreeing with their ill culture, they can condemn me saying, oh, you going against the tribe, kill you, because you have no right to exist outside of the tribe, right? Because human rights are fictional. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you act on the assumption that human rights are fictional, the result of that is catastrophic. And we have numerous examples of that throughout human history. And the backlash of that thinking is not good. It causes it's a worse idea. It's a bad idea to even question it, the premise. And this is one of the things that religious people have over atheists and secular people. Because this guy, he's preaching some form of nihilism, which is the rejection of morality and God. This is what this man's that's what he's really saying here. That you shouldn't believe in anything, no morality, no God. You only should believe in power because that's real. That's what's real. This is why I say most people, they think they were going to be the ones to help the Jews if they were in the Holocaust. But the reality is, no, you won't. Because if you believe what this guy says, you don't believe in no God, you don't believe in no objective morality, you'll fall right in line. Because the thing you really respect is you don't have morals of yourself. The only thing you really respect is consequences. And consequences comes with what? Power. Those in the position of power can give you a consequence for going against what they say. I get banned off YouTube because I question vaccine science. That's a form of power. But my principal says, oh, I don't agree with that. I believe I'm allowed to question authority. I don't care who says that vaccines are good. I want a valid answer based on evidence and truth. I don't care what the authorities say. But an atheist does. Oh, the authorities said that men can be women and women can be men. That's true because they know there will be a consequence if they said the opposite. Is that a moral position? Is that a principled position? Religion, I don't care all these atheists that coming out here saying that we outgrew religion. No, we haven't. Because one thing religion puts in your mind, and I, as someone who grew up Christian and raised in the church, one thing it puts in your mind is that humans have always been humans. From the time of religion to the time of modern stuff. We don't evolve. And and I think it's this Darwinism thinking that, oh, we have evolved past religion. No, we haven't. All we did was replace it. The Bible even said, the Bible makes an argument, say, hey, you do not remove God, you merely replace God. And science is the new religion. And just like religion, the priest and all these clergymen abuse the religion to project power on the masses, the people today are abusing science in a way to condition and control the masses today. Same playbook. Anything you accuse religious zealots, I can make the same argument against people on the science community. When they do trusted science, this politicized science, where they omit facts that counter to their narrative, where they shout people down that bring up counter evidence contrary to popular belief about climate change and all this and vaccines, they get shouted out, they get ignored. They filter them out of the knowledge system so people are not aware of them. The same way that the religious people or the Catholic Church used to do in Rome. You're literally doing the same thing, scientists, because you guys are not seeking truth. You're merely using science to project a form of power and influence over the masses. And this is what this guy's trying to say right here. That the only thing that matters is power. And I just wish that atheists and secular people are more honest about where they're actually pushing for. Because we're religious people, right? We believe in a form of objective truth, objective principles that exist outside of our own reasoning control. But these people, these nihilists, they think, no, reason and control, everything only exists within our reason. No, there's things that exist outside of human reasoning, aka the earth, aka the space-time. There's a lot of things that human reason cannot explain. Yet this is human folly to think that we get to determine, oh, what rights you have and what rights you don't have. If power is the only thing these people respect, then be honest with that. Be honest with that. Don't sit here, do some fake virtue signaling, some fake moral display of character about how you really care about all of us. Because Davos just told on themselves with this guy. Because then if you don't believe human rights are fictional, then how can you claim to be moral? How can you claim to, disinformation and misinformation is the number one problem facing the world? So that's a relative statement. Okay, what is disinformation? What is misinformation? Things that go against your power? Especially that you just claim that human rights are fictional? You just prove yourself as a moral relative. And if you're And if you're a moral relativist, that means when you claim disinformation and misinformation is merely a subjective view, aka it's usually is slanted in favor of what you want to be done in the world, and you're mad that the world's not following along with it. This is why you say Donald Trump is a threat to you, even though half of the population in America says Donald Trump is a good option. But because you say it's bad, the world must believe it's bad because why? You have the power. Essentially, that's his argument. I know I went a roundabout way of doing it, but I guess I use this opportunity to think out loud, because I don't know why. What he said really ticked me off. I don't understand it. Maybe you guys do. Hopefully it wasn't a waste of your time. Hopefully you found some insight about the critiques that I have, or let me know some of your critiques about what he has. You agree with what he says? You agree with what I say? I want to hear your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.